Shell Defensive Arts, and I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be talking about the bush honeysuckle and its uses as a hiking stick or as a self-defense tool. I was going to show off two of my good ones. One of them is in a work in progress, but the other one's done. And I was going to explain a little bit about how well they serve me in the field and some of the pros and cons, as well as some differences among the more famous Irish blackthorn that exists across the pond. And I wanted to talk more about how this potentially could be a good substitute, considering how widespread and how pernicious it is in our local area. How it could be a good substitute for the Irish blackthorn if you were to consider using it in your woodworking. So a little bit about the history of this. This is I live in Ohio, and all over the Midwest, this bush honeysuckle has come and basically, I'm not going to say destroyed, but it's come pretty widespread across the entire country, and it has definitely affected the local flora, like ginseng and things of that nature that grow really close to the ground. So the fact that I'm parroting this type of wood to use in woodworking seems like a good idea, because you're not going to be killing anything native in this area. It was brought here in the late 1800s. It was brought here originally as an ornamental plant. Apparently it's a relative of the bush honeysuckle that exists up in BC and Saskatchewan. I've been working with these for about 10 years, and I would consider them to be extremely light and extremely strong, which seems paradoxical in some senses. You know, some of the ones that I've worked with, you either get to choose one or the other. Now, I do work with Osage. I do have an Osage staff here. It's extremely hardy, and this is also about 10 to 11 years old. As you can see, I like to put rubber on both sides to give it a sense of a better balance when I'm spinning, and to protect it, obviously. So although I'm really excited to show it off as a possible counterpart to the Irish blackthorn, I'm sure it's less dense, and it also has a hollow pith. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's the little hole in the middle that allows water to travel through it if it's a smaller and fast-growing wood. Now, I do know that blackthorn grows really fast too, but it does not have a hollow pith. It's probably why it lasts so long and is considered really, really strong. Obviously, I don't think that bush honeysuckle is a direct contender of the Irish blackthorn. I'm sure if you put them, head to head, the Irish blackthorn would pull through. But speaking of how fast this grows and how easy it is to get, it's a pretty good substitute if you have nothing else. So in this case, usually I cut off the top here so that I can have an even, a nice flat edge, so that I can put a cane tip on the end, and it does. And in addition to the other ones, it allows me to spin it better. But in this case, I wanted to try it out, so I made a little knob. It's not finished yet. I have to apply some finish, and maybe a little bit. I might sand it a tiny bit more. But one that I would consider finished will be this one here. It's very similar to the last one. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see it also has a hollow pith. Definitely is a bush honeysuckle. I stained it with a golden oak, so it has a little bit of a darker color to it. One thing that I want to mention that is that it doesn't seem, I use a different technique for most in terms of how to bend wood. I use heat bending with a heat gun, and I don't have the equipment to do like a steam setup. So maybe it's just the fact that I'm using heat bending with a gun, but I'm having issues keeping a straight, basically keeping these staves straight from doing the heat bending. It works great for most of the part. Like in this case, this one had a lot of errors in it, and I had to do a lot of straightening. And the unfortunate thing is that this last part here, the very bottom, seems to still give me problems. I'm sure you can see it, the little angle that it comes off here on the side. I've tried many times to get that bend out, and it just doesn't seem to want to work. So to counteract that, or to deal with it, I'll just end up grabbing staves that have a counterbalance on the bend. So you can see here it starts to go up and then starts to go down again. But it's a perfect balance. It really does. It spins perfectly. And especially with the knob on one end and the cane tip on the other. I have made one in the past that I lost, and I gave it to, before I lost it, I loaned it to a friend of mine who let his dad use it, who was toward the end of his life. He was a little overweight, And he was in the 300s range. He ended up using it for several months and loved it. Said that it was perfect for holding his weight and it wasn't cumbersome in any way. Now I know canes aren't supposed to be cumbersome, but this one was exceptionally light, but still held up really well. And I was really impressed by that. When I harvested this one, I found a little bit of some, I don't know if they'd call those termites, but some type of bug that loves to make the little trails in there. And I always enjoyed that as a sort of an aesthetically pleasing. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you'd like to see more. I'll be making some more in the future in regards to various smaller weapons. I'll be doing one on some of my personal Kubotans that I use and capo sticks. So thank you so much for watching and have a great day.